Nuri and Akash were childhood friends. They grew up in the same narrow streets of their small town, spending their days running, laughing, and sharing dreams that only innocent hearts could create. From morning till dusk, they were inseparable, playing under the same sky, walking home together after school, and finding joy in the simplest things. Their friendship was pure and beautiful, a bond that grew stronger with every passing year. As they grew older, something unspoken began to bloom between them, a deep and tender love. They didn't need words to express it. It was in their glances, their laughter, and the quiet understanding they shared. Life seemed perfect. They couldn't imagine a world where they weren't together. But life, as it often does, had other plans. One small misunderstanding changed everything. A rumor, a careless word, something so small, yet powerful enough to plant a seed of doubt in Akash's heart. He began to question Nuri's intentions, and before long, the warmth between them turned into cold distance. Arguments replaced laughter. Bitter words took the place of sweet conversations. Nuri tried her best to explain, to make Akash understand that her love was pure and unwavering. But Akash, blinded by anger and pride, refused to listen. In one impulsive moment, he walked away, leaving behind the girl who had loved him more than anything in the world. That night, something inside Nuri broke. Her heart shattered in silence. The same streets that once echoed with their laughter now felt empty and cruel. Nights became sleepless, days colorless. She smiled for others, but her soul had grown quiet, carrying a pain too heavy for words. Months passed. Nuri told herself that perhaps life would give her another chance, another reason to smile. And one day, fate led her to Ehtisham, a man older than her, gentle in words, with a calm smile that promised stability. But Ehtisham carried a past of his own. He had 5 children and a wife who still lived with him. Ehtisham spoke kindly to Nuri. He promised love, care, and a life where she would never feel alone again. Tired of her loneliness, Nuri believed him. She told herself that maybe this was the new beginning she had been waiting for. At first, everything seemed fine. The house was full of life and laughter, and Ehtisham's affection made her believe she could start over. But soon, the illusion began to fade. Ehtisham's first wife often quarreled with Nuri. Her words were sharp, filled with jealousy and resentment. She accused Nuri of ruining her life, of stealing her husband's affection. The children, too, followed their mother's bitterness. They refused to speak to Nuri, mocked her behind her back, and made her feel like a stranger in her own home. Still, Nuri tried with all her heart to win them over. She cooked for them, cared for them, and smiled even when her eyes were filled with tears. But no matter how much love she gave, the walls between them only grew higher. Ehtisham, who once promised to protect her, began to change too. Sometimes he would be kind, holding her hand and whispering that everything would be fine. But other times, anger consumed him. He would raise his voice, threaten her to behave properly with his children, or else face the consequences. Nuri endured it all. Her heart, soft and forgiving, chose patience over rebellion. Every morning she woke with hope, and every night she cried herself to sleep. Each day was a battle she fought alone, between her desire to be loved and the reality of her pain. She often thought of Akash, the boy who once held her hand beneath the stars and promised to never let go. She wondered if he ever thought of her too. Sometimes, in the stillness of night, she whispered his name softly, like a prayer that no one could hear. But prayers are strange things. They travel far and find their way back. One evening, after another harsh argument and another lonely dinner, Nuri realized she could no longer endure the emptiness. Ehtisham's house was full of people, yet she had never felt so alone. She packed her things silently, tears blurring her vision, and left for her mother's home. Her mother, upon seeing her, broke down in tears. She held Nuri tightly, feeling the pain her daughter could no longer hide. That night, as Nuri lay quietly on her mother's lap, her mother made a decision. She picked up the phone and called Akash. When Akash heard her trembling voice and learned of Nuri's suffering, his heart clenched with guilt. All the years he had spent away from her flashed before his eyes. He realized how foolish he had been, how his pride had destroyed the one thing that truly mattered. Without hesitation, he drove to see her. When Nuri opened the door and saw him standing there, she froze. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then their eyes filled with tears. Tears of regret, love, and 1,000 unspoken words. Akash stepped forward and pulled her into his arms. She broke down, crying into his chest, as if years of pain finally found release. "I was wrong, Nuri," Akash whispered. "I should never have left you." Nuri looked up, her voice trembling. "I waited for you, Akash. My love never ended." In that single moment, all the bitterness, all the years of distance, melted away. It was as if fate had pressed pause and then play again, bringing them back to where they were always meant to be. Days later, Nuri and Akash decided to start anew. They married again, not out of impulse, but out of understanding, out of a love that had been tested and survived. This time, there was no fear, no doubt, only trust and truth. Their home was simple, but filled with peace. Akash cherished Nuri as if she were the most precious thing in the world. He made sure her tears never returned, that her laughter filled every corner of their lives. Nuri, too, loved him with all her heart, grateful that destiny had brought her back to the one soul who truly belonged to her. Together, they rebuilt what life had once broken. Every morning, Akash would bring her flowers from the garden, and every evening they would sit by the window, watching the sunset, the same golden glow that had witnessed their childhood and their reunion. Their story became a quiet legend in their small town, a tale that whispered the truth about love. Because real love doesn't die. It may bend, it may break for a while, but it always finds its way back. Nuri and Akash's journey taught everyone that love is not just about happiness, it's about patience, forgiveness, and endurance. It's about holding on even when the world tells you to let go. And when you do that, life gives you back the love you thought you had lost forever. Now, they live in peace. Akash values every smile that graces Nuri's lips, and Nuri cannot imagine a life without him. They celebrate every little moment together, not as a reminder of the past, but as a victory of love that refused to fade. Their hearts, once broken, now beat in harmony, and each day, as they look into each other's eyes, they silently thank destiny for proving that true love, no matter how late it returns, never truly ends.